treadmill talk time. If you see someone walk up the stairs, that's my brother-in-law. Because I believe Lobo asked about that last time, who that was going up the stairs, that's who it is. But anyway, I was on the forums last night, and I did get a little bit frustrated. I don't really act into my frustration. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I don't think it's healthy. And plus, you can only say so much in a forum anyway. And I try my best not to judge people. Everyone's got their own lives. Everyone's trying to figure their own thing out. But I want to know your guys' opinions on this one. So, she's having a tough time losing weight. And she said she goes on these really strict diets, and she also stops drinking completely. But she wants to have fun. She wants to have fun in life. To her, that's the definition of not having fun. So she wants to drink, she wants to party, she wants to have all the pizza and whatnot. Now, she's like, how do I lose the weight? I don't know how to do it. It's frustrating to me. I want to lose the weight, but I want to have fun losing the weight. And honestly, even speaking about it out loud, it's a lot less frustrating than when I read it. When I read it, it was just like, make a choice. But saying it out loud, I know often people really get themselves in these weird traps because they feel they have to go all in and commit into something. You know, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, I might have told her to go to my YouTube channel, but that forum's on Reddit, and I don't like playing with that. They're a very fickle crew, and if you brand yourself at all, they'll take it personally sometimes. Sometimes they'll actually lift you up, but I don't like taking my chance on that site. But anyway, so I did leave a message for her. I told her, follow it step by step. Make it a process. Make it a lifestyle change. And I think what frustrated me so much about it, looking back, was it's like she wanted two completely different things and for it to somehow work out for her. Like, that's what I was getting from the forum, because I'm leaving quite a bit out of it. I can't remember exactly how it was said, but that's the way it came off to me, was I want to be able to drink and eat the crappy food that I eat, but I also want to lose the weight. And I'm not going to lie, it did bring me back to when I trained by ASU. I trained a lot of teenagers. A lot of teenagers. And I'm not saying all teenagers are this way, because there's not. Everybody's different, everybody's an individual. But I have had several who they want one thing, but they want to act the exact same way they've always acted and get that new result. And it just never happens that way. Like, I mean, if I could say to someone, yeah, I got this pill where you can eat cake and pizza and drink all the time, you'll lose weight. Yeah, I'd probably be a millionaire for something like that. But it's just, it's not, there's no logical basis for it. You have to take responsibility. And that's not to say, like, look, if you don't want to lose weight, I'm not going to stop you from having drinks and having pizza and having cupcakes and having whatever you have. That's your choice. You get that option. But I also don't want a person to say, I want this, but I'm going to act this way, but I'm expecting this over here. Like, when in life has that ever happened? It's like me going to a fight and saying, you know, I really don't want to fight, but I would love to have that belt. Like, because I want to be called the champion. Like, I don't know who doesn't want to be called the champion. I'm sure everybody wants to be the champion. but you have to put in the work to be the champion. That's just kind of the way it goes. But I did send her a message, and I hope it did help her out, because I told her that she's probably diving in head first and going all in and just trying to, like, I have to have this strict diet. Like, if you want to maintain your lifestyle and your friends, well, I go, the best thing you can do is slowly implement it in slowly, and eventually you will get there, because it's a process. It's going to take some time, and if you're willing to follow the process, you'll be fine. Take it day by day. Change small things, because if you keep changing it, those large, big changes, you can only maintain it for so long, and then you slingshot the other way. So, and I wished her the best. I mean, I really do hope she gets it figured out. But it's really important for people to really be honest with themselves too. Like, and oh yeah, I did tell her to go get a coach if she needed one. Like, because that just makes the process so much easier. I don't know why. Well, yeah, sometimes it's an expense thing. But other than the expense thing, I think if a person's looking to go somewhere, they should always get a coach. That just makes the best sense, because when I became a professional fighter, before I was a professional, even as an amateur, I got a coach. I wasn't doing this on my own. It doesn't make sense. That's a very dangerous sport to be in, and you don't want to do it on your own, knowing you could get hurt. You want to learn the techniques and the skill sets. And then on top of it, it's like, I've seen fighters who have gone into fighting without a coach. It never ends well for them, ever. It's always really, really bad. And a coach, we live in one of the best times we've ever been in now, because honestly, coaches are everywhere. They're everywhere. And you don't even have to pay for all of them. That's the beauty of it. Even in the YouTube community, you get a lot of free advice. Free good advice. Unfortunately, there is some free bad advice too. So you have to be careful with what advice you take from who you're dealing with. You have to be skeptical sometimes too. But if you're willing to put in the work, and you can compare different advices from one another and see, well, what's this person's track record? What's this other person's track record over here? Then you can kind of say to yourself, okay, this is why this individual can do such and such. This is why this individual doesn't know what they're talking about. Because I've seen it on this channel where there's people who clearly don't know what they're talking about, but then there's people who really know their stuff too. It goes both ways. There's people who are very, very knowledgeable in their skill sets, and it's amazing. So I'm curious, what are your guys' thoughts on that? What do you think about people who, I know the saying, have your cake and eat it too, kind of a saying where, and I've gotten that a lot, especially as a trainer. Like, the first thing I do as a trainer is I have to break them from that mode of thinking. Because the truth of the matter is, the human body's amazing, like absolutely amazing. When it's put in the right position, wow, it can do great things. But it takes work, energy, action, effort, clarity, putting it all together. It takes falling down, it takes some failures, it takes a lot of things to put it together, but when it is moving in the direction that it needs to move into, the human body can really do anything. Like that saying, anything you put your mind to, it's true. But I think sometimes people take that saying as like, I'm dreaming about it, instead of like, no, I'm going all in. I'm driving into that direction. And that's what it's about. When you're ready to focus your energy in on one thing, Like I remember there was this video that I would watch. It's called Humans Are Amazing. And they're just doing the coolest stuff. Some of the coolest stunts. Just doing backflips, riding on motorbikes, people doing push-ups and pull-ups forever. Different variations of things. One guy was speaking at a rapid rate. Like whatever you put your mind to, your body can do. People have different skill sets and tools, and you can find out which tools work best for which thing you're trying to accomplish. But let me tell you, you'd be very surprised what an individual can do when they really put their mind to it. And putting your mind to it takes honesty. It takes really taking that risk and saying, why am I where I'm at? Because the truth is, a person puts themselves where they're at. And I think that was what was kind of hard with the forum that I read. It was almost like she was kind of taking responsibility and kind of not taking it. It's like, I know I'm responsible, but I want this to still happen at the same time. And just be honest with yourself. Just say, you know what? I like drinking and I like my pizza. It is what it is. Or go in the reverse and say, I have to figure this out some way, somehow. I do give her credit and kudos for going on a forum and actually asking though. I respect that. Because I know that's hard to do. So, even as I'm thinking about it, it's just kind of like, I try my best to think outside of the box. And I try my best to look within that person's frame of mind. But I am still human too as well. So I have certain things in life that can rub me the wrong way. And it's up to me to strengthen my character and really use whatever energy she was putting out there and make it a positive energy. Because I think you can always make an energy a positive energy. That's the cool thing about it. Whether you have people who love you, people who hate you, you can always use energy and turn it into something powerful. And so that's my challenge to everybody too, by the way. It takes time to get there, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. It gets easier the more and more you do it. Life's just a series of games and a lot of practicing. But when you put it together, it's an amazing thing. You know what I mean? It's very, very empowering. So I really do hope that she makes it, that she does what she needs to do, that she takes the time to really look in the mirror and is honest with herself and ready to put it together. And if she somehow comes across this video, who knows, I might have a bunch of people come across this video thinking I'm talking specifically about them, because I know people can. That's not the only person who's written that form, so, but that's not to hate or bash at anybody. I really do wish you the best. If you think you're the person that I'm talking to, I wish you the best. And I know you can do it, but it starts with taking responsibility. It starts with being honest with yourself, looking in the mirror. And here's the thing, things don't have to be hard. Like, life is hard regardless, but life is just gonna be hard because you never know what life's gonna throw at you, like ever. No one can ever plan what life is gonna do to you. And that's why, even myself, I say strengthen your mind, body, and spirit. Always do your best to strengthen your mind, body, and spirit, just because you never know what life's gonna do. If anything is unpredictable, that's unpredictable. It's one of those things where you're like, wow, okay. So be honest with yourself. I know I talk about stay in the right environment, hang around the right people, do the right things, take the right actions. But sometimes you are not given those options. Sometimes you're just not. And I think that's another thing is we're always looking for this fairness in life, and I think it's up to us as people to create fairness. I know we have the freedom of speech, and it's almost like some people want to have the government take action on how people respond to other people. I think that could be a really detrimental thing waiting to happen. I don't really like going into politics that much, but I think it should be up to the people to do the right things and to create a fair and just society. And sometimes I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for making it a fair and just society. I mean, 9 out of 10 people I meet are looking out for me. So there's that 1 out of 10, and it might even be less than that, who they're really looking to stab me in the back when they get the chance. But it's really so rare. It's rarer than I think people think. But if you already have the assumption in your head that this person is coming after you, then yeah, it's a pretty bad thing. And I do know when I look on the internet, there's a lot of people who want to do things but don't want to play into the system to do those things. It's like, even when it comes to making money, there's so many sites out there trying to push money, and it turns into this, I'm not going to think about you, I just need to get the money. And people are going to react accordingly because people aren't stupid. They really aren't. Like, they're going to say, well, no, or I don't trust this person, or they're not looking out for my best interest. Like, I have this page up because, do I want it to monetize? Absolutely I do. I want to create an empire. I want to build a brand. But I'm building it by giving to others. And that's honestly what the best do. Because why would you expect to get something from someone and not put any skin in the game or do anything for that person? Kind of reminds me of another thing that irritates me, the sub for sub. It's like, you come onto someone's channel and you say, hey, I sub to you, so you have to sub to me. Like, well, 1, I don't have to do anything. And 2, I didn't ask you to sub to me. I don't even know who you are. Let's get to know each other a little bit first before. That's like me knocking on someone's door like, hey, I want to be your friend, so you should probably be my friend too. How crazy. How crazy. Look, would I want to get on Oprah's seat when Oprah was around back in the day? Absolutely. How much easier would that make my life? But what if I came up to Oprah, knocked on Oprah's door and said, hey Oprah, I really want to get on that seat because I think it will do amazing things for me and I will be your friend if you let me on. She'd look at me like I was nuts. Now if people are saying, well yeah, that's because that's Oprah. Look, you're much smaller than Oprah. Okay, so even if I went to someone who only had like 10 friends, let's say they only have 10 total friends, I go to their house knocking on their door. Hey, I'm Cliff and I want your friends. I want your friends to follow me. Here's my card. And for doing that, I'll be your friend. Would kind of rub you the wrong way. Like, so be honest in the game of life that we're playing. Like, be honest with yourself. Play the game of life correctly. It's such a simple thing where they say, treat others the way you would want to be treated. That's so easy to do. Like, would you want to be treated that way? No? Okay, then don't treat others that way. Would you like to be treated this way? Absolutely. Well, then treat others that way. I think some of these parts in life that we play are much easier than people want to make it out to be. And do those parts of life take time? Yeah, they really do. They do. But I mean, that's the fun of the game. Like, if you want to believe that got this new sales funnel, you're going to sell people like crazy. Hey, look at my Ferrari. Like, you don't think those people put years and years to get to that position? Like it just happened instantly for them. And now I'm not saying that about our community, because I know our community is not like that. I'm just kind of speaking from the soul and saying what's coming out. And some of these forums I read, that's what I read a lot about, is just like, I want something, but I don't want to do anything to get it. But I want that something still. It's like, all right, it's not going to work that way, but I can show you how to do it. And as a coach, I have to charge. Oh, you're going to charge me now? Oh, you're a sellout. It's like, well, it's my time and my effort and my energy. So I can't do everything for free for everybody. Especially if you're coming, like, I think it's one of those things where people just make their life more difficult than it has to be. Sometimes it doesn't have to be that hard. It really is that simple. Sit down, come up with a plan, be honest with yourself. We kind of know the outcome to some of the plans that we have. It's like, have you ever seen anyone who could eat donuts and chips and pizza and drink, who's not a genetic freak, that is, because I know they're out there where they can do that. I've actually trained one girl who could do that, and wow, the other girls were a little mad at her for it. But rarely do you get a person who can eat whatever they want and still lose weight. That's like a 1 in a million type thing. So to say, well, that's just unfair. Like, look, life is definitely going to be unfair sometimes. It is. And you can take it and be honest with it and adjust accordingly, and honestly make life as fair as you can. Like, I want life to be as fair as possible. I do. When I talk about building an empire, I don't want to build an empire and say, I did it, no one else can do it. Because here's the truth. I couldn't get there without the people pushing me to get there. And sometimes people forget that too. It's not about saying, I'm a self-made millionaire. Because there's no such thing as a self-made millionaire. It takes the people to rise them up. And I think as a responsibility, it is a person's responsibility when you are rose up, that you have to make the really tough decisions for the community. I think that's an important thing to be. You have to do right by your community. Because whether they trust you or not, it's just the right thing to do. Because the one thing that we'll all do is we're all going to live and we're all going to die. And I know people don't like screwing people over. I know it. I can see it. I can see it when people actually do screw someone over and they know it just doesn't feel quite right to them. And when they're in their deathbed, laying there, thinking to themselves, man, I'm a real piece of work. Damn it. They can't take it back. You can't reverse it. You can only move forward. Now you're on your deathbed knowing what you've done. And so that's why I say take a real good, honest look at yourself. Be honest with people. Do right by people. Because they'll do the same thing back to you. They'll raise you up. But when they raise you up, make sure to raise them up too. Like I said, each mountain I climb, I want to climb that mountain, but I want other people to climb it too. And sometimes I might just climb back down if they're having trouble climbing up it, and help them climb it just to see the view. That actually reminds me of the coolest story. I remember Ivy actually sent this one to me. She's one of my People Are So Great videos, because I really love her to death. And she sent me this cool video. There's this paraplegic, and he wanted to climb, I can't remember what mountain it was. It wasn't Kilimanjaro, but it was a decently high mountain. And he wanted to climb it so bad just to see the view. It was the coolest thing. So his 3 friends came up with the idea. They put him in a backpack and they climbed it up. And I mean, like, that gives me goosebumps just telling that, you know, like, that just shows how good people can be. That's how capable we really are to do the right thing. Is when you can take your time to give to another individual and really rise them up and really get them out of that slump and put them in a good position. And the joy in this guy's face when he was up there, it was really just the coolest thing ever. Like, he really just, he had so much praise for his friends, and it went the other way around too. His friends had praise for him too, just because he always had a positive mindset. No matter what life threw at him, he maintained his positive mindset. And I think that's very important for people to do. And like, even when I'm on this treadmill, you know, I talk about it, but I'm also thinking when I'm on the treadmill, because I can't help but to think from time to time. I love doing it. Life is very interesting to me. But that was another thing that was a little bit of like a nails on a chalkboard with this other lady. Was she just wasn't thankful. Like, just be thankful about life. Have some gratitude. Sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do though. Sometimes it can be quite complicated. And I make videos about that as well. But all in all, I'm going to say, whoever you are out there, you're going to get through it. Whatever you need, you can get through it. Some people's lives are more difficult than others. That is true. Some people are not dealt the best cards. That is true. But there are always options. And you have to know that there are always options. There are always going to be people out there who will root for you. If you are not ready to deal with the negativity or people bullying you or people trying to keep you down, avoid them until you're strong enough to do that. You can get wherever you need to get. Always remember that. Always believe in that. Remember, there's greatness in you. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.